let's get to Penn State, Ohio State, because it's the noon kick. It's a major matchup. A lot of talent for both teams. Ohio State is favored by 15 at Penn State, and they're favored by 15, loaded with pro prospects. Wow, you like the other running back for Ohio State? Because I know more about Travion Henderson, but let's talk about, how do you say Williams' first name?
Mayan,
okay.
Yeah, and here's the thing. We know Travion Henderson is the superior back and the stud, right? But he's only a sophomore, so a true sophomore, so he's not eligible to be in the draft. But I can't help but watch Mayan Williams and see myself, because we're the same size, same weight, 5'9", 225, and we played the same game. I feel like this guy is going to be so productive as a pro player, because these backs kind of remember CJ Anderson that played for the Broncos, or those type of backs like what we see in Baltimore now with
Gus Edwards,
not Gus Edwards,
J.K. Dobbins,
not J.K. It's the third back that played with Atlanta last year. From
Mike Davis.
Mike Davis. All of these guys like him tend to really do a fine job of sticking around the NFL, because they are productive runners. They don't waste movements in the backfield. They get what is blocked, and they also have the knack to get stronger as the game goes on. So he provides a perfect complement to Travion Henderson, because you look at someone like Mayan Williams and you think, man, he could be my 4-minute offense guy. He could be my closer. He could be what Jordan Howard has been in his career when they had Tariq Cohen, to when they now have Miles Sanders in Philly. I think he's now with New Orleans. But you look at that role, that's a valuable role on an NFL roster. Your RB2 and your short yardage goal line back. He has stepped up big time this year. I think he's played himself into, maybe a late round draft pick or a high priority free agent. I've been impressed watching him play and how he's really got it together this year.
What about Penn State's got a bunch of good defensive backs. Kalen King, the true sophomore, is good. Joey Porter Jr. is going to be a first-round pick. I like that you want to talk about another one of their safeties. Last year it was Brisker. This year it's Jair Brown. Lackawanna Community College, man, they've become a Penn State safety factory.
First of all, when you talk about Lackawanna Community College, one of the best JUCOs in the Northeast, and they're in that conference with Nassau Community College, who had Rasul Douglas, who has been successful out there on Long Island. But yeah, Lackawanna has consistently been one of the top JUCOs we've seen. And Brown, to me, is kind of like Brisker. I feel like both are instinctive guys. Once they decide where they're going, they get there in an instant. They're able to, point and shoot and turn the ball over. So Brown, to me, should be one of these guys who's going to find himself in that early day 2 range, depending on when the run on safeties go. You know how it is. We constantly fight these debates on, positional value. If you leave it up to draft Twitter, you're only supposed to take quarterbacks and offensive tackles in round 1. Everybody else should be priority free agents, right? So give me the guys that's always around the football. Brown is always around the football. And if he is having a big day, that means Penn State is in the lead against Ohio State.
15 points, Emory. 15 that they're laying. What are you doing?
Ross, come on now, Ross. You know Penn State. I know you're a Penn State guy. I know you watch all the Penn State games. I know State College is not that far away from Harrisburg if you just travel a little bit north. They probably got, they probably could be a sponsor for Tuck Spreads. They probably have great food. Matter of fact, they do have great food up there. They have the great ice cream, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I had that ice cream when I went to that Penn State Rutgers game. I'm saying all that to say this. There's no way on LeBron James and that this team is going to beat Ohio State or even cover. So lay these 15.5 points right now on a Monday morning against Penn State. Because it's funny. Last Saturday, I found myself sitting back watching. Man, Penn State and Minnesota are the same team. And James Franklin and Mr. Row the Boat, they're the same. Fleck? They're the same coach, just different shades of brown. Like, man, when they play each other, it's like we're watching an inter squad scrimmage. So yeah, they'll beat up on Northeast Ohio, they'll beat up on Toledo, but when they get to a big game, they tend to fold like a lawn chair. And so I'm going with Ohio State big. And if you find this line at 15.5 right now, do not wait till Friday when it's up to 29.5 points. Now you're going to have a decision to make. 15 is perfect. They'll win by more than 2 touchdowns. They'll win by 17 points.